The tutorial is for a video I've just posted of the classic Christmas song, White Christmas, fingerstyle version. The PDF of the tab is downloadable, so you're welcome to download that from the link, which is either in the video description or in the comments. But let's get straight to the nuts and bolts of learning this piece. Grab your guitars and let's go. So in bar 1, we should really start with a G chord. That's what we do. We start with a G chord. We're playing the E string, D string, G string, B string. Now the melody note is the B string, so you want to let that note ring clear. If you are struggling to play any of this fingerstyle piece, because some of it is reasonably complicated, you can do some simplifications. The simplification to this first bar would be to play the bass note and the melody note only. Don't worry about any other notes. So you'll be playing G on the E string, 3rd fret, and B. And that gets you started. Sounds fine. So that's bar 1. Now bar 2, what we want to do is we want to place our finger on the 1st fret of the B string, 2nd fret of the G string, and we play both those strings. Then we play 2 open strings, B and G string. Then we play the 3rd fret, G string, 4th fret, D string, 4th fret, D string, and then back to the 2 open strings of B and G. And that gives you this sound. Now again, a simplification would be you just play the melody. So you play the top note of those 4 note groups that I showed you, which would be 1st fret, open string, 3rd fret, G string, back to open string. If I'm going a little bit quick, have the tab in front of you and you should be able to follow it reasonably well. So far we have we're off and running. The next thing that we need to do, simple, we play an A minor chord, which puts the melody on the B string, 1st fret. That's our melody note. Moving on to bar 4. It gets a little bit tricky here. We do a little slide from what's almost the bottom half of a D shape there. We put our 1st finger on the 1st fret of G string, and then we need to fret the 2nd fret of the B string, and then we slide that chord shape up 1 fret, and then we have a descending bass line run which starts with open D, 4th fret of the A string, and that rolls nicely down to the bottom half of a C chord, 3rd fret, 2nd fret, open string, G, and that's the next part. So we have, going from the beginning of that bar, a little slide, open string, 4th fret, bottom half of a C chord. Now the melody moves up the top E string. And this is when it gets a little bit fiddly, a little bit more fiddly. Again, a simplification would be not to worry too much about the voicing of the C chord here. Just play the C bass note, which kind of leaves less clutter to get in the way of hitting these melody notes. Now we have a chord shape which requires open D, 2nd fret, G, 3rd fret, B, 5th fret, E. Think of this in relation to the D chord. You have a D chord like that, bog standard D chord, and if we wanted to make a melody note on the 5th fret of the E string, we would revoice, or refinger rather. So now we have this melody note which we need up here. So I'm just going to play that again. In fact, I'll do it from the little walk down. Bottom half of a C chord. Now the melody is ascending on the top E string. So we get to here. That's 1st fret, sorry, that's open string, 2nd fret, 3rd fret. Think of a D chord, but reach for the 5th fret. And then we drop back to what we might commonly know as a D sus chord. Then we change the voicing of the D chord to a D7, which is open string, 2nd fret of the G string, 1st fret of the B string, 2nd fret of the E string. So we go from here, and then we change the voicing to a D7, and the melody is on the 2nd fret now. Now the melody needs to drop to an open string again, an open E string. And then we, just let me find where I am on the tab. And then the melody descends to the 3rd fret of the B string. And the chord is, it's another G chord. And the way that I play this in the tab is G in the bass, 3rd fret, open D, open G, and then 3rd fret, which gives you a D on the B string. Again, if this is a little bit tricky, you can simply play the bass note and the melody note. So that would be the G and the D. And if I go through that whole section again, but I'm going to simplify it. So I'll go from the walk down. So we do this bit, and then the bass line. Now I'm just going to play the bass note here. So we've got 3rd fret of A string, and then we do open string, 2nd fret, 3rd fret. Now we move to the open D string, 5th fret of the E, and then we come back down the E string. Just play the D string again for good measure on the fret in the 2nd fret, and then open string. So that little part went 5th fret with the open D, down to the 3rd fret, 2nd fret with the open D, down to the open string. And that cadences nicely to a G chord, which I'm going to simplify from the one that I showed before, to the bass note and the melody note. So I'll play it again from the beginning just so we know where we are. A minor, little slide part, walking bass line, bottom half of a C chord, melody ascends the E string, think D reach to fret 5, D sus, D7, back to G chord, with the 3rd fret fretted. Now the next thing we do is we play open G, 2nd and then 2nd fret on the G string, and another G chord, and then we play, when we voice that G chord, we do a G in the bass, and we do open D, open G, and a B string. And the B string is the melody note. That's the melody note. Then we play the B string again. Now we play what would be a G7 chord. So we play the 3rd fret of the D string, and we play the open G and open B. Then we play the open E string, as you heard. And then we come down to play the 3rd fret of the B string. So I'm going to play that again from the beginning of that section. Open string, 2nd fret, and then we think of a G chord. The melody is the B string now. Then we play the B string again. Then we play what would be a G7 chord. So we play 3rd fret, open string, that's an open G, open B. The melody moves to the top E string. We need to hear that. And then we come down to the 3rd fret. And that leaves us ready to arrive at the bottom half of a C chord again. The melody is now in the G string. Nice and easy. Bottom half of a C chord. Then we've got this lovely change, C minor. How melancholy, you hear it all the time in popular music. And the way we do that is we play the bottom half of the C chord, which is 3rd fret, 2nd fret, open string. Then we need to minorize, there's a word I've just made up, minorize the 3rd. So it's not the 2nd fret that needs to be fretted, it's the 1st fret, and we have a minor 3rd triad. Ever so sad. The melody then goes to 3rd fret B string, 3rd fret B string, 1st fret B string, and then we play 3 open strings, the D, the G and the B, melody is in the B. Then we, next bar, we fret G on the low E string, we play open string, and we fret the 1st fret here, and then we let that melody note fall to the open string, and then we play the 2nd fret on the G string, then we play the open G string. So I'll go from where the bottom half of the C goes to the C minor. We reach to the 3rd fret of the B string, down to the 1st fret, open string with the open G and B, D string as well. Then we play a more full G chord, be a suspended G chord. The melody is the 1st fret of the B string, down to the open B, 2nd fret G string, open G string. Now we really want to just fling an A minor down on the fretboard, that's my A minor, and we want to play the A, D and G string. And just pick it like that, I made a bit of a mess of that. And then we play D7, throw a D7 shape down, and just pick it like that. Now if you want to just play those chords strummed to simplify it, that's fine. So we've really done the bulk of the piece. It repeats itself. A minor, little slide part. Think D chord, reach. D7, back to G chord. I'm just playing this fast so we get to the next bit that you need to learn. And this is the next bit you need to learn. So when the G chord, this would be bar 22, 23, 24, 25, okay? So 2nd last line, 3rd last bar, bar 25. We play what would be a G chord. The melody is in the B string, so we play the B string twice. The pickup would be, and then the G chord, B string twice. And then we've got this G7 chord. Melody moves to the E, back to the 3rd fret. Now this is where it changes. So this is what would be the 2nd time ending. We need to play the bottom half of C chord, and we need to voice G on the E string, 3rd fret. Then we have to minorize this lower C chord triad. And we do it just like before. We do 3rd fret, 2nd fret, open G string. And after that we play open G, 2nd fret. Then we play G chord. With the B is in the bass, the open B string, the B is the melody now, the open B string. Play it again. Now we have what would be a D7 chord. It's not a full D7 chord because the melody is now moves to the E string, the top E string. So we play D7, oh dear, D7 chord would be like that. But we make a D7 chord without the E string 2nd fret as it should be. We just leave the E string open because this is the melody note that we need now. Gives a lovely open sound. And how we would play this is a D string, open, G string 2nd fret, B string 1st fret, E string open. Give gives you that sort of shape. Now this is a tricky part. We have to reach over, fret the 4th fret of the D string. And I always find when I'm playing this that I kind of can't avoid muting some strings here. I've not really got that bit down. It's a wee bit of a stretch. So if you are struggling with that particular part, you may just want to play the D7 chord with the open E string. And then just abandon the chord. Don't worry too much about holding it down. It's nice if you hold it down because you get the sustained notes, but an alternative, if it's not really working, is just to move to the 4th fret. Don't worry about the chord. You're preserving the melody note, and that's what people want to hear. So that's an acceptable workaround. And then we land on the C, bottom half of the C chord. And we go to C minor again. Cadence to G, which is 3rd fret, open D, open G. I hope that wasn't too fast. I might have flown through that rather quickly, but I think if you grab the tab, download the tab from my Google Doc link, give it a bash. If you like it, I'll be so pleased. And if you've got any questions, just ask. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope that we all manage to have a good Christmas.